What's the most natural way of providing nutrients to a newborn? Breastfeeding, of course. Breastfeeding is not only healthy, it's convenient, safe, and cost-effective. And here's another benefit. Mothers who breastfeed are less likely to develop breast or ovarian cancer. As the island observes National Breastfeeding Week, we here at the JIS encourage mothers to give their children a winning start. Hello and welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. The magazine unfolds with a word of advice followed by the news.
Householders, business people, school administrators, protect yourself and your children from the chikungunya virus. Be on the alert. Help control the mosquito population. Chikungunya is a virus transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which breeds in and around your home, workplace, and school. Destroy breeding sites. Empty old tires and all other containers where water can settle. Bore holes in old cans. Cover water drums and garbage cans. Wash flower pots and vases and clean pet dishes regularly. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Cover your body as much as possible and use mosquito repellent containing DEET. And if you're experiencing symptoms of chikungunya, a sudden high fever, headache, rash, nausea, pain, stiffness, or severe joint pains, see your doctor or go to the nearest health center.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale and this is your GIS News for Monday, September 22. The country is set to reap major benefits from baseload energy generating plants, which are to come on stream within the next 3 years. Chairman of the Electricity Sector Enterprise Team, ESET, Dr. Vincent Lawrence, says the country will see significant improvements in the stability of voltage and lower technical losses.
I think a lot of people in some areas may be quite happy about that because some people I don't think are experiencing the level of stability and grid security that they should be experiencing at this time.
Dr. Lawrence was speaking at a recent press briefing where he outlined that 3 entities, Jamaica Public Service, Jamalco and Alpart, have presented proposals to build and operate new power generating plants. He added that the power plant's feedstock would result in lower emission levels and lower production costs at alumina plants.
And so the plants would be much more competitive in the global market, and people who work in the alumina industry will resume their jobs. And the earnings of the country from the alumina industry will again become real rather than imagined.
Meanwhile, ESET will be coordinating with the Office of Utilities Regulations, OUR, to formalize the terms of license and power purchase agreements with the prospective developers. These documents will be finalized after both entities complete their due diligence.
We want to also help to facilitate the permitting because there are permitting issues from NEPA and other agencies as it relates to what needs to happen in the development of a plant. Because we want to try and see if we can get to financial closing. You will not get financial closing on these projects until permitting is achieved.
ESET is hoping to secure the money for the plants by the first half of 2015 so that they can become operational by the end of 2017 or early 2018. Students of the Cavaliers All-Age School in West Rural St. Andrew are the latest beneficiaries of the Tablets in Schools pilot project. Technology Minister Philip Paulwell and representatives of eLearning Jamaica handed over the tablets last Wednesday. Minister Paulwell said the long-term objective of the project was to facilitate more access to information and communications technology.
Every single student at Cavaliers and every single teacher will get a tablet computer to be able to have in your hands the latest in technology, the tools that will enable you to become viable, to become productive.
He added that the expanded broadband network in schools through the Tablets initiative would also increase the country's internet use ranking.
And when we increase our e-readiness ranking, it puts Jamaica in a favorable light to attract investors, to attract more business people, because they will say that we're serious, we're educating our people.
Cavaliers All-Age School is the second institution to receive tablets under the pilot project. Salt Savannah Primary and Infant School in Clarendon was the first. The Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority, JCAA, has given permission to the United States National Transport Safety Board, NTSB, to lead the investigation into the recent plane crash in Portland. The JCAA's Deputy Director General said although Jamaica was fully capable of investigating the incident, the NTSB was in a better position to carry out the investigation.
Given the circumstances of this particular accident, where the majority of what took place occurred in U.S. airspace, there was communication with U.S. air traffic control, there was visual contact with U.S. military. It was a U.S. domestic operation that we felt that the U.S. NTSB was best placed to conduct the investigation.
Information Minister Senator Sandra Faulkner added, however, that the JCAA would be kept up to date with the investigation.
The JCAA has named an accredited representative to the investigation team. He is Captain Christopher Kirkcaldy, Senior Aviation Safety Inspector with the JCAA.
On September 5, a plane traveling from Rochester, New York to Naples, Florida veered off course and later crashed into the waters north of Port Antonio, Portland. Both the Jamaica Defense Force and the United States Coast Guard were actively searching for the aircraft, but later suspended their operations as the probability of finding survivors decreased. And finally, Tourism Minister Dr. Wickham McNeil is urging Jamaicans to dispose of their garbage properly to protect the island's beaches. Minister McNeil was speaking with the GIS News on Saturday as Jamaica observed International Coastal Cleanup Day. Thousands of Jamaicans participated in cleanup activities at about 139 sites across the island.
Many people in the interior of the island, persons in communities maybe far from beaches and otherwise, don't understand that when we come out here and pick up tons of plastic bottles and garbage, that it's coming out of the rivers and gullies, washing out the sea, and the tide brings it right back in. International
Coastal Cleanup Day was coordinated by the Jamaica Environment Trust, the National Environment and Planning Agency, and the Urban Development Corporation. The main projects this year were the Fort Rocky Beach in Kingston and Hellshire Beach in St. Catherine. And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thank you for watching.
Longing for flexible work hours? Well, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is ready to give you just that through its new flexi-time arrangement. This means both you and your employer can arrange the traditional 40-hour work week in a way that best suits your needs and that of the organization to which you are employed. So expect a shorter work week, more family or business time, more jobs through part-time work opportunities, reduced traffic during peak hours, improved customer service due to varied opening hours, reduced absenteeism, and much more. So come on, balance work, balance life with FlexiTime.
From commissioning lights to more rural communities, to opening another IT resource and skills training center, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller and her team were kept busy all last week. Those and other stories from the Office of the Prime Minister come your way next.
ESET team unveils proposals to reduce Jamaica's energy bill. More rural communities receive electricity. And Information Minister pays tribute to veteran journalist Claire Forrester. I'm Andrea Chisholm with your Jamaica House Weekly Update. The Electricity Sector Enterprise Team ESET, which was commissioned by Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller, announced on Wednesday that Jamaica could expect at least a 30% reduction in the cost of fuel by 2018. Energy projects, which will include new baseload generating plants, are expected to save the country $350 million. ESET Chairman Dr. Vincent Lawrence said several entities have presented proposals to build, own and operate new power generation and feedstock facilities to supply power to the national grid. These entities include the Jamaica Public Service Company Limited, Jamalco and Alpart.
We want to be sure that we're negotiating the best deals and various things. So we intend to have independent support to assist us and have those assessments done to satisfy ourselves that what we are recommending, what prices we are settling, what the various things are the best for Jamaica.
JPSCO's proposal includes using gas at its Bogue power plant by 2015 and changing over to liquefied natural gas at its Hunts Bay and Old Harbour plants the following year. Alpart is proposing to develop a gas facility in 2017, while Jamalco is expected to come on stream with its coal-powered cogeneration system by 2018. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller is moving ahead with the plans to provide electricity for more communities in rural Jamaica. This time around, 45 houses in Barry St. Catherine were hooked up to the national grid through a $6 million rural electrification program.
We have 97% coverage of rural electrification. I have indicated to the minister, I do not want 97%, I want 100% coverage. I know what it is for children to be doing schoolwork with a lamp. And I do not want the children of today to have to experience what we, the older ones, experienced in our time. And so I'm very happy that the children of Barry will no longer have to be using a lamp.
And the Prime Minister also focused on community empowerment in the past week. On Wednesday, she opened an IT resource and skills training center at Caribbean Palm Estate along Spanish Town Road in Kingston. She encouraged community members to take full advantage of the center.
This resource and skills training center is a good part of the plan. It is a people-oriented investment. Embrace it. Let it help to unleash your full potential. Technology is opening doors to job and investments. To benefit from these developments, we must be ready. Mastering information technology starts with understanding the basic use of our computer. It can transform your lives and move people out of economic difficulties towards economic well-being. If you know how to use a computer, you are better able to get a job and to do well in the job. Or you can use it to create your own job.
The Caribbean Palm Estate is the 182nd IT Resource Center built and equipped from the Universal Service Fund. Under the fund, 49 other centers are being built and 150 applications are being processed. The information arm of the Office of the Prime Minister, OPM, took a major step towards improving its communication with the people of Jamaica in the past week. Veteran journalist and former JIS CEO Huntley Medley was appointed director of the OPM's Communication and Public Affairs Division. Mr. Medley will be responsible for the management and operations of the division and will have oversight responsibility for news and public affairs, media monitoring and research, website and social media, public relations, as well as special projects and community outreach. Mr. Medley will also work closely with Information Minister Senator Sandria Faulkner to implement government's communications policy across ministries, departments and agencies. Information Minister Senator Sandria Faulkner has expressed condolences to family, friends and colleagues of journalist Claire Forrester, who died on September 15 in Florida. Senator Faulkner hailed Forrester as a giant of Caribbean journalism who was a sterling example of journalistic excellence and fairness. Minister Faulkner added that Forrester distinguished herself in all her endeavors, thereby making an indelible contribution to journalism. Senator Faulkner also stated that Forrester's endearing smile would be missed and cherished. The funeral for the late Claire Forrester will be held this Saturday, September 27, at the Webster Memorial Church at 10 a.m. And that's it for this week's edition of Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for more of the stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
Welcome to the FSC Minute. I am Maddie Newsome. Today we explore microinsurance and my guest is Rosemary Henry, Senior Director of Insurance with the FSC. Welcome to the FSC Minute, Ms. Henry.
Thank you, Nadine.
Ms. Henry, the FSC is exploring the introduction of microinsurance services in Jamaica. What is microinsurance?
Microinsurance can be defined as an insurance product which is geared towards protecting the low-income earners against risks such as loss of earnings, debt, and illness. This target group is not normally covered by traditional insurance.
So microinsurance is targeted at the low-income sector?
This is the target market, but because of the affordability of the premium and the type of risks that are covered, the middle-income earners will also benefit from it. The idea behind microinsurance is that it will assist with financial inclusion of individuals in our society who are not currently in the formal financial sector. This will happen whether it be through insurance or banking. The target market will include specific groups such as small farmers, micro-entrepreneurs, fishermen, domestic workers, anybody who is not now currently in the formal financial sector, and they'll be able to get coverage for products such as illness, property, term life insurance, and crop insurance.
You mentioned financial inclusion. What is this?
Financial inclusion will allow for the provision of financial services to mainly low-income earners who currently do not access with a banking, insurance, or even financing through the formal sector. Financial inclusion will allow for them to be able to come into the formal sector at an affordable and easy accessible method.
Thank you, Ms. Henry. My guest today was Rosemary Henry, Senior Director of Insurance with the FSC. For the FSC Minute, I am Maddie Newsome.
No son. A verb is an action word.
Parents need to become more involved in their children's education.
Parents are the first and in many cases the most important teachers.
Read with your children. Review their schoolwork. Visit their school.
Tapping and rapping and slapping, I said.
Nice! High five! Woo!
A good education will never decay.
Checking and helping your children with homework, staying on top of what's happening at school, and being involved in school life. All very important activities in the life of parents with school-age children. It takes a lot of time and effort, but all the research we have tells us it's worth the effort.
Everything that is in X and Y.
Students, teachers, principals. They are the main players in the school environment. But there's another critical group without whom a child's academic success is highly impossible: parents.
If you want your children to come up to something, there has to be a combination, a close relationship between the parents and the school.
The parent is the first and most important teacher in a child's life.
Many will agree to the truth of this statement. Whether through biological parents or guardians, children learn first at home from their caregivers and then express learned habits to the wider society. This is the reason it's so important for parents to actively participate in their children's education.
Many of us are not as good parents as we need to be, you know. Many of us believe that we just send a kid to go to school and give them something and teacher must do the rest. It can't go that way.
When you go to school and you find out from the teacher how your child is doing, if they're weak in an area, then you can always help them better at home. So it's something that is very important. When a child sees their parent coming to school to make sure that they're doing well or to participate in an activity that they're doing, then it says to them, hey, my mom or my dad loves me, or they care about what I'm doing in school.
There are several ways in which parents can play a supportive role at their children's school.
Become a parent volunteer in the classroom, a grade volunteer, and just try to get more involved with the school community. So if there's something going on, if there's an event going on at school, then you can always volunteer in that area also.
You could also become a member of the school sport program. Start this early and maintain the practice all the way through the various grade levels. Also, develop a relationship with your child's class teacher. His or her phone number should be stored in your contacts book, and it's important to have constant dialogue with the teacher to ensure that your child is performing at their utmost academically and emotionally.
Perhaps there is something, a weakness about your child or a strength that you'd want to communicate to your teacher. Perhaps you want that teacher to know that your child will be better at the front of the class rather than at the back, or pay a little bit more attention in this area. So you go and you communicate that to the teacher, and if throughout the term you're finding that your child is not doing well, you find out what is going on.
Some schools are using social media to keep connected with parents and students. If your child's school has a Facebook account, like their page. Several schools also produce newsletters. Subscribe to their publication. You could even contribute an article or pictures for the newsletter. And one surefire way of being involved at your child's school is by joining the Parent-Teacher Association.
We're trying to re-energize the PTA to involve the teachers more, to involve the parents, where parents can come and talk about their concerns, parental issues, not understanding what's going on right now. So no, the PTA is not just about fundraising and to voice a negative opinion about the teacher. And it's not PA, it's not just Parents Association, it's Parents Teachers Association. So we're encouraging not just parents to come out and attend the PTA, but for teachers to come out so that they can also develop that relationship with parents.
When a parent becomes involved at their child's school, rich rewards await. No doubt the child will excel academically, emotionally, and spiritually. So parents, just as you have worked hard to ensure your children get the necessary school supplies, make sure they also get your emotional support and close personal contact. Check in at your child's school periodically and keep abreast of all the happenings.
How well do you know your child? What he or she likes or dislikes? Favorite food or color? How about who their friends are? Make the time. Get to know your child. It helps to build their relationship. Makes it easy to keep them safe, and it helps their development process.
This week, we join the rest of the world in observing Maritime Week and bring awareness to maritime safety, security, and environment. At the same time, the country is moving full speed ahead to develop a shipping and logistics-centered economy. Watch now as we explore some of the jobs available on the high seas.
To ensure safety at sea, the best that science can devise and that naval organization can provide must be regarded only as an aid and never as a substitute for good seamanship, self-reliance, and a sense of ultimate responsibility, which are the first requisites in a seaman and naval officer. Hello, I'm Kerry. Today we're plotting a course that takes us inside the whys and hows of some maritime jobs. That and more in this installment of Career Talk. Thanks for joining us.
It's a very vibrant market right now.
Career Talk has emphasized this reality before, but it bears repeating. The maritime industry offers up a wealth of opportunities for employment options.
I chose it because I really like it. I tried other schools before, and to be very honest, they weren't as exciting. The thrill wasn't there. So I ended up doing this.
Today we zone in on some of the more common onboard ship jobs that are available and what you need to know to get started. If you're just starting out in the maritime industry, this is the bottom rung on the ladder.
It's one of the lowest ranks on board merchant marine vessels, and they deal with mainly deck work from the deck department, and they have no sea time and are in charge of roles such as watchkeeping, keeping a gangway watch, chipping and painting the deck, and basic ship maintenance.
But there is ample opportunity to work your way up.
You can move all the way to captain if you are good enough. And as an OS, you earn anywhere between $800 US per month up to $1,500 US per month, depending on the vessel you're on and what company you're working with.
And FYI, there is no specific training or certification needed for this.
No, just basic training to go on board, like life-saving techniques as they're practicing behind me right now, and similar courses, basic first aid.
The able-bodied seaman, AB, is just a step above ordinary and isn't exactly an indication of your physical condition, although just about every job on board a ship calls for being in good shape.
He does the same thing an OS would do, except he is certified and he would have had more experience and sea time. He gets more pay, of course, so he gets anywhere between $1,500 US to $1,000 to $2,000 US per month.
The junior engineer is at the lowest level of the engineering department but performs critical tasks nonetheless.
When you finish your training at the Maritime Institute or any other institute worldwide, and then you start your navigation, you have no sea time, but you like to become an officer. You have to first work as an apprentice engineer. In this position, you typically earn, well, $1,500 to $3,000, depending on the vessel and the company you're working with.
And then there's the licensed engineer.
His job is ensuring the operation of the entire engine room of the vessel. He is the equivalent of the captain for the engine department. So he runs the engine department of the vessel. The chief officer is the right hand of the captain. So the captain has overall responsibility of the vessel. The chief officer is in charge of the deck department. The chief officer is in charge of the bosun, all the navigational officers, and everyone else that works on the deck. He gives them the daily roster of duties, yes. He's in charge of the navigation of the ship and its safety.
Now, think about a crew of men and women of whatever size working on a ship for months. What would happen if they are not fed often and well? Ship owners know that is not a scenario you want played out, which is why they hire stewards.
That is the chief cook on board the vessel. He's in charge of preparing all the meals. He would have a team at times, depending on the size of the vessel. He would normally have a mess man or maybe 2 mess men, depending on the size of that vessel. His earning potential is anywhere between $2,000 to $4,000.
Remember, whichever maritime job you do seek out, there are some constants.
It comes with a high level of discipline. It comes with commitment.
Join us next Monday when we'll have a brand new career talk just for you.
This is one time we don't want you to laugh.
Staying safe on the road is a serious thing.
Mr. Taxi driver and bus driver, take time now, man. People, say one-stop driver and come off.
Cyclists, motorcyclists, pedestrian, all road users using the head.
Only if you use cell phone and drive. No, man.
Idiot thing that.
Road safety is no laughing matter.
Because we want you to be around
and laughing with us for a long time.
A message from the National Road Safety Council and National Health Fund.
And that's how we close today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Have comments or queries? Email us jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. If you prefer social media, we're on Facebook and Twitter. You may also view this and other programs in full on our website, jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.